Hey, what up, Lokesters? This is Loke Saint. You're listening to Uncovering the Underground with my man Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you nothing but the best in underground music.
Ernie, don't you move, I'll shoot you! Hands up! Now! Drop the knife now! You're hitting children, sir!
I teach my kids beware of the police.
On the ground now!
I'm not your friend.
Criminalizers.
They will not help you in time of need.
Okay, right, in the United States, I know my rights. I don't give a shit. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
This is America!
They wanna criminalize
Harsh
us.
times that we live in, but the news take truth to the warp in us. Tell the story, turn back, strict time, put the dork in us. Strict nine to the spine while we trapped in the matrix, just like Morpheus. Cops pop more caps to the back, then baby griddle caps in the wild plan, parenthood abortionists. And all they ever wanna do is orphan us. Just to navigate the laws, every single American citizen gotta turn into a contortionist. Open the jaws and cram laws down my throat like I want a gun tote, but they forcing us. They giving the price to bear arms, but I'm sticking to fight to scare harm. Motherfuckers if they horse with us, making the course to dust. I represent we the people, everybody be endorsing us. And we never ever gonna gun forfeit us. They put the fork in us, now we done. If we really wanna get it, we can run. This motherfucker become something better than whatever they done. I'm a crooked cop, dead for running, cause I'm sick of seeing my brother's blood run. We need reform, but ain't nobody wanna listen, so I feed the storm and arm up like we're ready for war. Get hardcore and shit.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Criminalizers. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military.
They tryna criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up.
Criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. They getting ready.
Somebody, anybody tell me why the government running the city telling us lies. Realize every day you behind enemy lines, but they taking our freedom, don't give a fuck about our lives. Fake news, social media controlling the minds. Fuck the popular opinion, man, I see through the lies. But they portray it to be holy, they deceive the skies. Wolf leading the sheep, the slaughter was the enemy kind. We need to open up our eyes to the sign, stop being blind. Later the brink, well, like a nation confined. Half of the population doing tough and non-violent crime. It's a sign of the times, how many kind of bonds gonna happen before we find a reason for the rhyme. How many times they commit treason before they try for the crime? How many times they take our freedom just for speaking our minds? For the way that we grind with little nickels and dimes. While we trying to keep my head up, but they're shaking it ridiculous. I'm fed up homies doing time for crime that we're victimless. Trying to enlighten my people, no one is listening. They only want to hear about drugs and change lists. Like I'm talking to myself, like the wind is what I'm pissing in. I'm never gonna be a victim of a battle with a mission. I was born a visionary, but most of the world I'm visionless. A vision is when we coming together, now we living this. Made in the brave now, laying in the cage, singing slave. All the people that took our freedom away, trying to silence the truth and everything that we say. But I say fuck that, time to load the AK. Time to take this shit back, time to change the way. Cause if we don't change soon, it's gonna be our last day. Gotta look inside ourselves, gotta find a better way. Keep your head up, be strong, and to fight another day.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military.
They tryna criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up.
Here splitting into different sides. The difference between us was nothing really listening wiser. Geographical positions, man, indigenous types of natives all around the world. So why you getting us tied up in the bickering life between a billion sizes, shapes and colors? My brothers and my sisters are riders, and the vision is priceless. Which turned into religion was blinded. A war full of infinite fighting. When a man-made shit you reciting, if it ain't natural campaigns getting you fighting political matters. Though damn shame, killing you guys so your riches get catapult. Enslaved niggas ain't trying to give us collateral. Niggas was mad at those freaking citizens fighting in every single condition that they citizens citing. Assassinated our leaders trying to get us some rights and misled us with information that they give us in writing. I got from them, beat the freaking Christian inside them. Anytime they present, we put them in an asylum. If we're giving them rights, then put the same laws that we had for the slaves, y'all. Now them niggas are tied in, and the rage inside of them is freaking igniting. Gangs are forming, drugs gotta get it inside them. So they rage on each other now and really we like it. Now we locking on them niggas up more quicker than lightning. But to let them niggas free, they got a prison inside them. Panel down with a stigmatism to blinded. Now they lose when it's all, I wonder if they can find it. Since the beginning, that position getting this blinded. The media feminizing my niggas for prices. And it's all about riches, homie, it's bigger than ISIS. It's bigger than Bloods, Crips, and sickness we fighting. Cause when we fight back, then they criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military.
They tryna criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. They getting ready.
Our people! I've been to Iraq 14 times for my people! You come over here and order!
now I'm covered in blood. The fuss was alerted, fuck it, I guess it's back to the mud and living under the surface and shit ain't even worth it down. There I be living perfect, nobody yelling in my face and calling me ugly and worthless. I am the king of this underground. You cannot fuck with trouble in this ugly sound. When I rock, all will grumble like I'm dumbing them down. When I get to the top, I get bubble like you're loving them now. I see the way they look at me every time, like I ain't nothing, like I ain't worth a dime. But I got something that they ain't never seen. When I bring that to the masses, they gon' see what I mean. Hold up, check this shit out. I be whipping through the shadows at night in a bucket, causing ruckus, doing the unlucky fuckers in my way. When the night is mine, you dopest when the moon is shining. You die in the low light, and now you never gonna see another day. The land I come from is done with pine trees. They will never find me, though we smoke a light. Journey into the mist, and you will die like a bitch. Right to the shit, bro, right when it hit. Have you seen the motherfuckers? Well, they still ripping so smooth. When I'm in my groove, watch I do to murder your crew. I'm being like Quasimodo. Mine is the hunchback, raised in a dark cage, and only a lot of tough scraps. I mean, I'm hungry for whether it be the money you're eating, the random junkie. You bitches better feel on something. I'm that funky motherfucker that's spreading across the country. If you try anything funny, I'm leaving this bitch bloody top. I see the way they look at me every time, like I ain't nothing, like I ain't worth a dime. But I got something that they ain't never seen. When I bring that to the masses, they gon' see what I mean. Well, I'm a freak, baby.
Oh no, man! I see a lot of ugly women, man. This woman is ugly to the bone. She's a fucking nasty fucking bitch, man. Gotta love her.
Equal opportunity is what I'm all about. What's the sound? Never mind, I got my dick inside your mouth. My libido's gone crazy when I'm hazy. So crazy. Come to bending over all these old ladies. Ruthless as fuck, I leave their pelvic bone broke. You're broke. Cause I think it's fun and games, but no joke. All these urges got my dick so hard. Fuck the living, dig up playmates in the local graveyard. I'm a sex fiend, something obscene. Stick my dick in anything, I'm living the dream. It doesn't matter what it is, cause I'm going in dry. Do or die, save the tears, I don't wanna hear you cry. Beauty skin deep, but I'm 8 inches past. In that ass, tear it up till it's fully prolapsed. Then I'm on to the next, appetite unsurpassed. I'm jerking on cars from a busy overpass. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on my prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on the prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next.
Oh, this chick was such a slut. She fucked 2 of the nastiest, the total nastiest. The one guy can't even walk and got 6 toes, man. Nasty fucking
Neighborhood creeper and I'm out on the prowl. Call me foul when I push my fingers deep inside your bowels. In these waters, it's any port in a storm. Callus covered, my dick is weathered and worn. Pop off their shoes, rub my cock on their toes. In between it goes, and I arc my load in their nose. Choke and poke into rape you, now fall. Fuck them all, I am cracking now, I'm rubbing my balls. 5 o'clock cock, hit it in your room. The wretched stench of death counts down the doom of your womb. Muzzle load a baby back into its mom with my dick. Till it clicks, no one buys it, so I gotta get pics. Drunk at the park, with my pants soaked in piss. I try to cop a feel, but stumble to the ground and miss. Another day, another hole, an alcoholic abyss. Fuck my fist till I lose all feeling in my wrist. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on my prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next. Men, women, children, I just don't give a fuck. A hole is a hole, and your hole just got stuck. No, it's just another way to tell me yes. When I'm on the prowess best, to lock the door and pray you're not next.
It's like you got punched in the face by God.
The guy told him to take the money. He said, I don't want it. Says, all I'm going to do is kill you people. I have to kill you. The boy asked him, said, you really mean that? And he said, yes, I mean it. Says, well, he said, if you're going to kill me first, because I can't stand to see the girl be stabbed. He said, well, I'll do that. So he started stabbing the kid in the back. He told me 10, 12 times, but he had so much blood in him I couldn't tell. I knew he was stabbed several times. And then he stabbed the girl. This guy is a pathological, psycho killer. There's no doubt about it.
Here I sit, loaded clip, about to ride. Brought the SSI place with a ski mask when I arrive. My shrink told me I'm crazy, well maybe I'm actually normal. I'll turn you to a ghost for saying that paranormal. Rocking a tuxedo with a bloody tie. Time to die, covered up in particles from all the homicide. Hi, it's nice to meet you, I'm Chinzo and I'm not crazy. Just give me all of your money and you will live maybe. To hell with it, I'm not some motherfucking basket case. I'm lucky for your wallet and hold you upside down for your change. I'm the type of motherfucker to let loose. Killing and spilling and shoving machetes in your caboose. I kill for the thrill and I'm painting this sucks. Murdering motherfuckers for pills and drugs. Got a big wad of cash that I took from your stash. Getting high on my own supply that I stole from your ass. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face news. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Prick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler. I have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face ooze. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Prick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler.
Yeah, yo, dressed in all black in the dark, camouflaged by the night. All the lights in the house are off now and I'm grabbing onto my knife. The back door is unlocked, my mask is on, I'm inside. My freezer needs to be stocked, I'm stabbing all who's inside. So I move in, scan all the rooms, she's all alone like I assume. She's dying soon, but not too quick, I'ma take my time, I'm in a violent mood. Raid the kitchen, fuck buying food, don't need the meat, she'll supply it soon. I'm on a diet and skinny bitches, I'm eating healthier, I'm trying to. She never stood up, chance, she never stood up. After I severed vertebrae, brain was working, her death was certain. Obsessed with murdering every person, don't ever trust me, I bet I'm worse than the best immersion. Expert working in the field of bringing death to persons, bet I murk 'em.
Watch me put on a clinic, I did it for all who dig it. Nothing but raw, explicit, a visually scarring image. What makes you want to live in that body? You're non-existent. Let me put this knife in your skin and take you to a level we all will visit.
Looks like I found out where you live, and now I'm sleeping in your crib. You know that this might be the end. Looks like you got nowhere to run, and I'm about to have some fun. Staring at the barrel of my gun.
Crept in through the back door with a massive sword of sorts. Seen her at the back of the corridor, wishing she had some boarded doors, but of course it was too late, and I already chose her fate. Closed that gate, seen that fear all up on her face, till her brain sprayed from a flawless blade. Sick-minded, demented, did I mention bipolar, prone to get vengeance? Feeling happy deep down when I hit a chainsaw start with a rev like brain, and I really wanna end it, but I've been caught up putting little kids in detention. It's so easy to me, like a sixth sense in the river, bodies get tossed like a pigskin. And she was deep asleep when I went into a room and got beneath the sheets. I just spooned her, I just laid next to her in the bed, shaking while I beat my meat. I'm just lonely, I just want somebody to hold me while I'm rubbing it and need to speak. It's okay, babe, I don't really wanna hurt you, I wanna coerce you to be with me. She wasn't into it, I guess, cause she tried to run up out of the room, but I'm quicker than a bitch. She got thrown back quick like a Michelin-esque, took the knife and I stick it to her chest. Didn't really wanna take it here, babe, but it seems like we can never make this right. So I plugged it in and it pulled it out, the blood spray while I drained her life.
Looks like I found out where you live,
your doors down. I bet you wish that we calmed down. 50 shades of pink with about to break. Girl, you know you've been holding out.
Yo, maybe it's the blood that triggered in the face, but the fetish much better when I get a little taste. I peeled off in the raw in the off fashion. Never try screaming, that shit ain't lasting. It's in my brain, it's a slaughterhouse. You never even know till the organs out. As I fiddle with the liver, I'ma watch you shiver like my lips to the sight of you all strung out. Sick cocaine, if I can take my thoughts from the pencil. Better keep it broad on lock. What I'm into is far from the mental. Nibble and guts to these high strung sluts. Ain't no double these hoes, don't you know that's never the body up on an old school Kodak. Guess I get the highlight deep in the snuff film, but I'm not the side of it. Blood spill. Bet you wish you gave me that chance, but now I'm too hostile. Too far gone, bending your corpse to the spine goes a sign, yo. Swear I don't even know where my mind goes. When you have the time, what is in my mind is best seen when your eyes close.
Some murder shit. Murder bitches get away with it. Leave a motherfucking bullet wounded, then I play with it, I'm spraying shit. Licking motherfuckers down, ho, and lick a motherfuckers blood up on the ground, bro. This be the sound, ho. I'm from the town, ho, Pittsburgh. Where all the bitches' bodies found, ho. They talk about my spree on TV. They told my mom they wanna see me. See these eyes realize the pain of life to strain. The lives and crimes they know, that's why I self-inflict with pain. That's why I fuck with Kane. I'm just like fucking man. I pull my motherfucking pistol out in public, man. It's just enough to change. I'm quick to bust my thing. I'm down to load the fucking slug and throw it in your brain. You can't imagine what I've been through. I'll drop the heat and grab my can soon. Looks like I found out where you live. And now I'm freaking in your crib. You know it is my DNA. Looks like you got nowhere to run. And I'm about to have some fun. Staring at you wearing my gun. High quality beats. I'm gonna tell you a story, a little piece of history about my life, a story that's full of violence, broken dreams, and seemingly endless strife, and how I discovered a method of projecting my pain in a positive light. And on that night I died, and then I let Sam Grimm pick up the mic. He showed me the way and he gave me an outlet I never thought someone like me could possess, and I took it and ran with it fast as I can, as my demons caused me to retrogress. I fought my way out of so many holes, I can still feel insects on my flesh. I made myself and Sam a promise to never give anything less than my best, and I live that promise every day, and these words are burned inside of my brain. Dying is easy. If that's what you want, then you can go and meet your maker today. But if life is your goal, embrace your hurt, use the tribulations to make your way. I'll guarantee that this is gonna be the most brutal game you will ever play. So I picked up the sword, hacked and slashed my way through the muck and the mire, keeping my sights on the target so I can bring to fruition my dreams and desires, hoping that one day I will become big enough so that I can be admired. In order to make my soul burn again, I gotta find a way to reignite my fires. Let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody say, let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody
claim fame and put you all to shame. I paid my dues and I changed my ways, but you motherfuckers always trying to put me away. I dealt with the bullshit, tried with the drug biz, stayed sacked up when I was fucking with the white bitch. Tired of the dumb shit, I ran with the full clip and flex with the chopper when the bitches wanna pull it. Somehow it ended with rumors of me and my brother looking like the asshole kings, when all we were doing was standing our ground to protect our family from the bullet rain. Fuck friends, I'll say it again. Fuck friends, they in it for them. Fuck friends, even dealing with kin, you will see it begin as it grows like a leech in the skin. I don't know what I've been told, but real just don't exist anymore. And if you ask why I'm so cold, it's cause I get shit on as life unfolds. I'm stuck in this pit of despair. I wish it was easy as using the stairs. Now I know that nobody cares. I'm spinning in circles and going nowhere. This life is so cold and unfair. But when you're in need, there's nobody there. And I'll fight for the right to live life and make right all the times I made life so impossible to bear. But hey, in the meantime, I'll take my place, I'll take my shine. Just watch as we rise with the changing of times and acquire the tools to cleanse this musical air.
Let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody say. Let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody say. I'm gonna do everything that I can possibly do if it's within my physical powers. And if it ain't something I can do right now, then I'm gonna find a way to upgrade my prowess. I'm gonna unleash the beast that I keep beneath the surface and give it an outlet. Then I'm gonna let it explode on the planet and bring about an age of biblical titans. Oh yeah, alright. The hair on my arms and the back of my neck feel like they've been electrified. Nothing compares to the high that I get when I'm spitting my shit from behind this mic. I've been away for too long, but the prodigal son is finally home tonight. I don't know how, but I did not realize that the problem I had was not giving a damn. And everything I tried to better myself just ended up making me a cynical man. The life that I tried to hold on to so tightly was kept in the vault in my castle of sand. It got to the point where I considered joining up with the Ku Klux Klan, but I said fuck them bitches. I keep my niggas. Ride or die, 239. Believe me when I say that you don't wanna fuck with it. The crown that I claim is a product of pain, and I am willing to bleed for it. Sick fist click, we own this bitch, and I wish somebody would try and take it. Let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody say. Let me hear you one more time. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Raise your voices, raise them high. Now everybody say.
Yo, crack. Yeah, check it. Yo, I spit that shit that make them girls go off. Spit that heat that turn your cell phones off. Super high fire, bro. Nah, but I'm not a rapper though. Jeopardizing your capital. 9/11, you rapper, so I don't need this sniper to kill you. I find you a slice of your liver while I cipher against you. Fake friends that wrote disciples and missed you. Spent my life through this pencil. For the cost, I make my life so official. Bitches ripping tissue and kicking punches while fisticuffs with ocean conscious. So ridiculous, so obnoxious, no apologies. For kicking teeth that make you fuck or swallow them. Let's take this fucking battle to the collar. See 'em? Fuck boys, all you bitches gossiping. I'm a king, fuck your fucking politics. I make moves just because I'm bored. Watch this. Oh, you rhyme. Oh, you nice. Oh, you spit. Y'all got me laughing at you like, oh,
an audience trying to party with rap guardians, calling us like, I wanna collab. But pardon me, I'm a part of them, and honestly, if you bother me, I'm nodding out, cause I'm sleeping on the mixtape you tried handing out. So vanish now, you're lacking assets that come with this professional sound and musicianship. Listen, bitch, 10 years I've been dedicated and never made it, and when I made some noise, the sound never faded. It resonated through the underground and surfaced up to ears of open-minded individuals that gave a fuck. I'm the crown prince of VA, believe me, I'ma leave brains busted and have y'all fucked like a three-way.
Oh, you right. Oh, you nice. Oh, you spit. Y'all got me laughing at you like, oh, you spit. You swear you sick. Oh, you wanna collab. Y'all got me laughing like.
Well, shit, guess the joke falls on me. Ain't it coming out the dark with a spark? With my face painted, oh, you rapple, so do I. The only difference is I'm raw with the mic. Well, you copy and paste what you like. Everybody can tell you I'm not the type. Put a beat on, I'ma fuck you up. Taking this back to the mainstream, back to the main thing. Gotta get a college cut. Bet you wish I slowed it down, but I'll keep on chopping. And up on these rappers and leaving them shook like a sauce that ball frontin'. You need more evidence of gory and vile hysteria. You came to the right place, packing the sounds to kill ya. Why you explain the means of parody? Ha, fuck ya mean. All I know is kill shit as I leave the scene. Covered in blood of these rappers claiming they shot up like NASA. Green up like playing for Packers. Screaming and scheming like slackers. Where I can't even vouch for you actors, I feel bad. How would you put that dream of yours inside a body bag?
Oh, you right. Oh, you nice. Oh, you spit. Y'all got me laughing at you like, oh, you spit. You swear you sick. Oh, you wanna collab. Y'all got me laughing like.
Yeah. Bounce, motherfucker.
Ribs are cracked, chest wide open, alone in the dark, and you always hoping for this to be the day that you get to jump up. Lose your body flesh and throwing up. You've been dead 3 weeks by now. Another punk kid, nobody yet found. Restricted, been known to fucking raise the dead. Now get your ass up and nod your head. Tell the Reaper you ain't ready. Bitch, get bent. I was never invited. I was always the outcast. Freaking all black in the back of the class, staring at the T-strings as the bitches walk past. I don't care if you think you know me. I ain't the same kid from back in the day. Even back when I was thinking about ways how to spill your brains and bloody the hallways. I'm right where I need to be right now. After all this shit, I survived somehow. Storming the underground, rocking the mic. This weird shit, homie, this is my life. Pass me the axe, I'ma swing it back. Keep chopping at your chest, put your body in half. Spill the guts out your ass. You can't erase the past, watch your life in your eyes. World face black.
Down with the madhouse, not giving a fuck now. Bounce, jump, bounce, jump. If you here with us tonight, you forget your city life. And bounce, jump, bounce, jump. If you know what we about, slap a hater in the mouth. And bounce, jump, bounce, jump. When you dragging you a body, you just up the body count. And bounce, jump, bounce, jump.
Never would've thought it would've come to this, so I'm making up my mind and chose the sickest, wicked man, restricted, make them jump and lose their mind. I'm sick of waiting on the side, out the room and making moves, latching on your leg and spitting blood up in the vocal booth. I'm floating in and making it rumble. I smash the glass on the ground, then I pour up a double. I'm trouble. My hand around your mouth and keeping it muffled. I'm jumping up and down on your head like a monkey in the jungle. Let me make it move to the sound of the beast, you know we're killing it. I know you hear us when we stomp our feet, it's madhouse all in unison. Moving all in space and time, down and up is how we shine. Reaching up and watch me climb, I make them jump just one more time.
Down with the madhouse, not giving a fuck now. Bounce, jump, bounce, jump. If you here with us tonight, you forget your city life. And bounce, jump, bounce, jump. If you know what we about, slap a hater in the mouth. And bounce, jump, bounce, jump. When you dragging you a body, you just up the body count. And bounce, jump, bounce, I'm elevated, so stop if you hate it. I'm waiting and thanking the heights that we reaching. Let the sound just lift you. There ain't no ground to go back to. Oh no, then take a look around you. Just like that, the whole world, it just left you. This time I'ma make you pop. Jumping in, give me what you got. Everyone, I'ma make them jump. Bet your ass that we won't stop.
Somebody take me away about this place before I go insane. I'm about to blow my brains from out my skull into the wall, and in the stain you'll see my pain. This world has left me broken, hoping that one day you all will hear the words that I have spoken. I feel as if I'm choking, paying for this path I've chosen. Every time I close my eyes, I see the face of the chest I open. Chest I open. Chest I open. Chest I open. Chest I open.
Breaking down with a tactile mindset, sharp at the brain like a bodily ghost. Lip buster, I'm bringing the muster. I feel about the aim at the common folks. A nuclear weapon that's made by I. Forming the path in the essence of time. Free for the light, live by the rights, live by the tools of my eye. Work at the dead, do it for the bitches. Count them my army ear by ear. Just like a zombie, no hint to fear. What's this in your little book? It's not, cause I'm prepping the end of days to a fucking page. Giving you a taste of Armageddon before you see the rain. Call up every god you have underwater. You seek to find. Once it's dark as incantation, the world is now left behind. Swallowed by a beast, contributed to a dark condition. Brought back in the sun, you're a sacrifice to the new vision. Listen to the static, it's in sync to the ground beat. Forced an altercation when the soil changed. Nobody's safe, now we're here refreshing. Get this planet just what it's due. Place purpose on this plate, I'm gonna send you. Step to the other side, line to the river. Make the night of the tides when we say it's time to open up your eyes to a world that is so much better. So much better. Free from the restriction of something more reserved. Let's take it to a different system inside the earth. I'm gonna bend your mind, impose my own will. With operation, wake the dead, the road new. Hello, my legion, got someone who's written next. Who needs no introduction for his skills when in my specs. I present to you, Lex the Hex Master.
Yo, yo, tonight you've been initiated. Bow your head and take this burden. Darkness is your newest situation. Next level's murder. Welcome to my inner circle. Most will never witness. You my newest henchman. Time to grab your sword and do my bidding. And no worry about forgiveness. There's no redemption, just business. And business couldn't be better. We in the service of killing, cap peeling, and casket filling. Just think of it in these terms. You change the course of history. Every gap you sense in the urn. And in turn, I make you eternal, immortal, never be seen. Become the shadows or a figment of these pussy niggas' sickest dream. Be their terror, be their nightmare. Total cripple is here. Paralyze them with the horror. That shit that bring them to tears. So do you pledge your allegiance? Promise swear on this pistol to always kill with conviction. Leave the scene with no witnesses. Always move with the swiftness. Murder without a question. Question, question. And I will be your biggest blessing. Step to the other side, line to the river. Illuminate the night of the time when the sun is home. Open up your eyes to a world that is so much better. So much better. Free from the restriction of something more reserved. Let's take it to a different system inside the earth. I'm gonna bend your mind, impose my own will. With operation, wake the dead, the road new.
What's up, guys? It's your boy The Rooster from Nine Stitch Method, and you're listening to Undercovering the Underground with my dude Skippy Ickham on Speaker Podcast Radio, keeping it 100% underground.
Boy,
Tracing over the face with my fingertips. I can't let go.
Dope tone, high quality beats.
I will give you everything, I'll even sell my soul, just to make you happy and to fill this empty hole. But you gave me nothing and I felt my hatred grow, as I sat and watched as our love turned into stone. So I've come to terms that this relationship must end. The ultimate betrayal of a man and his best friend. I know you may feel justified, but I'll make you repent and make you relive every second of our last descent.
This is it, the point of no return. I'ma make these bitches squirm and my soul is gonna burn. My revenge, I've been plotting every minute since she went and fucking did it. Now they both can fucking witness their demise. I despise all that's hidden in their eyes. Like of lies, I reprise all the time that's passed me by. Sabotage and utilize all the demons in your life to publicize the reason why that I've eroticized the time of your death. Bitch, you had to fucking do it, let me waste my time to boot it. Leave me cold and so confused to think that I was gonna marry you. After all the things you put me through, I'll cuddle the memories into you. How could you? How could you? But now it doesn't matter, bitch, I'm the echoes of your past, and I'm meeting with your present just to make a future burn to ash. Please don't struggle, bitch, I just wanna make you suffer for a couple more hours while you stare at your dead lover. Yeah.
Sit your ass down, have a chat with Iron Maiden, and you better fucking listen to the words that I am saying as I draw the knife in the shape of an A, so that every time you look at it, you think of my face, bitch. This ain't something I will let you forget, and the pain you're feeling isn't shit to the pain in my chest. You swore you were different, but you'll suffer like the rest, and your attempts to hide the truth were mediocre at best. Now as for you, motherfucker, I've got something special. You're claiming brother fam, but you're just an empty vessel. Where evil lives and breeds, you're a walking, talking cesspool, and I'ma pop your eyes out like a festering pustule. Your problem is you're always thinking with the smallest muscle, so I'm gonna solve it with an iron pineapple. And you're begging and you're pleading is a sound that's almost sexual, and the feeling of revenge is unexpectedly exceptional.
Zachary 1, I had nothing but love. It was 4 long years of a brotherly trust, but the snakes will emerge and they act upon their lust, leaving wounds that never heal upon the souls of those they trust. With a long thin grin, you've accomplished so much, tore apart a friendship and the one true love that a man could ever have. So now I'll peel back your fingernails and cut trails right up out of Zach's back fast. So this is how it works. I'ma start with this incision right below the cheekbone and reveal the vessels. It is slowly one by one. I'll eliminate the bonds and let the blood run down your face for every wrong you caused. Moving right on down to the rim set, to the hands, yes, a 22 shell blows a nail into the chair that you're strapped to when your tattoos are burning off with the superheated iron, bro. I hope the fuck was worth the loss.
Now the time has come, and I promise that you'd pay. You have no idea how long I have waited for this day. I have a lust for blood, and baby, you've got what I need. I will take your penance with us. Slice, slice, constant repeat. 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 Slice, slice, constant repeat.
We in the zone,
just say so. Man, I'm living life, I don't lay low. Brought some weapons and I guess I bring a payload. Shocking out of anybody in my way, whoa. Tell the devil I'll be back to get my halo. Till then the motherfucker better stay home. All the power that I hold is finna blow the roof off. Any place I bring a mic, I might take souls. Back up, the shit is real as it gets though. Flow cold, dead nice like a headstone. Rappers popping up, I make them vanish like presto. Stop, drop and roll, I make a fire just to get smoke. Life ain't living it in luxury, nah. But I'm someone they all wanna be, yeah. Guess it's saying that I must just be the next best thing to ever come and touch the scene, whoa. Man, I make a wave like Poseidon. Soon enough you gonna see me with the trident. King in my blood until the day I stop rhyming. Which will be never cause my intelligence climbing. Look, y'all been irrelevant, better settle with bars. 16's off, rip like I'm a veteran dog. I've been better than many, stepping in the middle to spar. I feel a little me ain't literally a star.
We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment. And own it, yeah.
Shit go hard, no doubt about that. Power for the moving and we bring it right back. Like I'm just going pedal to the metal in the fast life. Hoping that you get up on the way before it crash right. Telling me that I'ma get it whenever the right time comes. But they will never be ready for that when I hype my buzz. I've been living alone and I'm feeling like I'm in the zone right now. So close to blowing up like I'm the bomb right now, whoa. Checking for the team get big. We all no doubt been on that heat wave shit. Everything we do is been a banger for your ears. Perfect melodies, we hungry so we eat that shit. Making waves at a rapid pace, I can pass the days. But talking crafty words in a crazy pattern for accolades. We have the greats and that'll be that. I'm just here to have the stage. A rap to y'all what I've written and thought over the passing days. But it's plain and in vain to the whole game knowing that my pain and my game be the same thing showing. With my name be the thing that they all speak. Hoping that I say every page, leave no line left open. I'm a G.O.D, you just a D.O.G. I keep my shit low key until the beat O.D. I'm in the Z.O. and E until I throw in the key. Just keep on throwing the heat, they know me, cause
we in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment. And own it, yeah. We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment. And own it, yeah.
Holy shit. It's been years since I touched a mic. Still a piece of motherfucking shit. Yo, I'm an asshole. I'm a fuck up. Every fucking thing I say is fucking fucked up. Yo, I guess that I just fucking suck. Damn right. Fuck. Yo. I guess I'm just a fuck up. I just wanted some love, but I'm getting none, cause I'm an asshole. I don't really care, I think that I'm cool. Cocky like a billionaire. I never really learned to shut my mouth. Every single word I say is what goes south. I've got no filter, so there's plenty of pop. Yo, anything and everything is setting me off. What's up, cunt? I never learned to respect. I do what I want. Yo, I'm the worst of the best. I mean the best of the worst. When I'm spreading some dirt. Yeah, fuck your reputation, you're dead in the dirt. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. Don't care, I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I don't give up. I don't give up. I don't give up. Right, once I started making some friends, I go and get myself banned from Facebook again. Yeah, try and calm me down, but the hate doesn't end. I'm an internet asshole, the latest in trend. I'll berate you for your views and point out your insecurities. I hate all that you do, and all of it is learned. Need to jump up in your comments or get up in your face and tell you since you're different, you're a fucking disgrace. I'm a grade A dickhead, a high class cunt. Yo, I think I'm gifted and fly as fuck. I don't care if you're my friend, cause friends are for cunts, dude. Before you block my number, just let me say, fuck you. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give up. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give a fuck.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio podcast show. I am your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment. If you are listening to us right now, you're most likely either listening to us through the Spreaker Podcast Radio app or through the website at www.spreaker.com. That is Spreaker with an R. And we ask that you hit the share button, share it around to our family member or your family member and friends. The more buzz you can get it, the bigger and better the show can be. So please share it around. We appreciate you tuning in every week and obviously being fans and dedicated to the show. We always have a fun and lively show for you guys, and that is definitely what we're going to do for you tonight. We do have Jade The NIghtmare on the line with us, and we're going to bring her on in just a moment. A couple things I want to go over real quick. For those who do normally tune into the show, we did have some crazy technical difficulties, and if you weren't aware and wondering what happened to the show last week with Jade and why she's on this week, there were some schedule changes and things like that, but what initially happened was the computer that I was using for the podcast did fry, and unfortunately had to cancel the show initially, scramble to get another one ready, and thought I had it ready for Monday, which I was going to do a pre-recorded episode of It That Betrays from New York, a rap duo, and still had to cancel theirs as well, still facing technical difficulties. And then tonight, we were good to go, and then it ended up being slightly delayed because once again we ran into some issues, but I think we do have that all ironed out now at this point. There's a lot of plugins and things with the radio show to the computer that have to be just right, and with the new computer it's set up a little different than the old one, and it's trial and error at this point. So hopefully we sound good out there. Let us know if you can hear us, if it's clear. When we bring Jade on, make sure that you can hear her and hear her clearly. We'd really appreciate it, and then we should be ironed back out like we always have been. I apologize to anybody out there, both artist-wise and fan-wise, for the issues over the last couple weeks. They were definitely unforeseen, so appreciate that. A couple real quick announcements. We want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. That is tattooedscumbag.com. You can check them out and use promo code BBE to get 10%, or BBE10, 10% off of any of your purchases or overall order. And that's at www.tattooedscumbag.com. They have great hoodies, sweatpants, socks, hats, beanies, you name it, they got it. I rock their gear all the time. It's comfortable. I love it. And it's supporting a local tattoo artist and a local business here in the Pittsburgh area. So we'd appreciate it if you gave them some love. Also show some love to Brutal by Design, which has a apparel line called Brutal Face. Check them out at Brutal by Design on Facebook, and you can give them some love and check out their apparel as well. Want to give a shout out to Legion Artwork, Roush Designs, and R3 Graphics. Also, I wanted to give a quick announcement for R3 Graphics. That is Rob Trey out of Rhode Island. Really dope artist. Really close friend of mine. And he's releasing his new album coming up. So we want to make sure that you guys check that out. That is, let me pull that up real quick. That's The Devil Inside. It is going to be 11 tracks, I believe. And it's coming out here in the next few weeks. I believe it's actually 4th of July it's dropping. So make sure you check that out. Look up Rob Trey, one of the dopest underground MCs that I've come across in a long time. We've been friends for years, And, we are glad to be celebrating the release of his album. We'll be playing some of those songs off that album coming up in the next few weeks as that releases. So make sure you check that out. And other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the interview. Did want to tell you a little bit about Jade, and we'll go ahead and get things started. Jade currently resides in Montebello. Jade normally... I can't talk today, guys. Jade currently resides in Montebello, a predominantly Black and Latino neighborhood in Denver, Colorado. As an independent artist, she has always made it her priority to be self-made and know how to do everything behind the scenes and collaborate with those that know her. She describes her music as having no filter and expressing the underlying horrors accompanied by humanity itself. Some of her biggest influences have been Jonathan Davis, Chester Bennington, and Corey Taylor. Her latest release includes a 15-track full-length album by the name of Death Delight Part 2, the sequel to one of her first albums by that same name. She is a very impressive young lady. She has done a lot of things for herself, and I have sat back as someone who's known about her in the scene and been watching her work over the last couple of years, and her drive is definitely, it's honorable. I watch it. She puts a lot of work in. She has a lot of things going for herself, and we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight and get to pick her brain a little bit. So without any further delay, we got you, Jade the NIghtmare. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm so happy to be talking to you tonight. I'm so excited to be here. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like I said to the folks, just a moment ago, you've definitely impressed me. You've impressed a lot of other people. You've gained quite a little fan base for yourself at this point and are doing quite well. So we're going to kind of talk about your accomplishments, what you've been able to do, where you came from, about your history, a little bit about your future, and then talk about some other subjects as well. So, without even really a delay on it, why don't we go ahead and just jump right into your story? Why don't you tell us what got you into music? What is, the driving force that made you what you are now?
Yeah, of course. So, long story short, music has always been like an outlet for me. And in the beginning, not to make it too dark, but when my dad had passed away about like 5 years ago, I would say by now, that really kind of ignited the fire that, became the hellfire that is myself today. And, over the last couple of years, it's really been like just a fight, fighting to always prove myself, fighting to always just show people from my community that it's possible to be something more than just like falling into these stereotypes within the community. You feel me? Like, other than that, music is it's always been around. My mom always used to play music through the speakers. Growing up, my dad always used to play Tupac and, that good 90s stuff. So, music has always just been around me. And I think over time, it's just become even more and more substantial in my life.
Absolutely, and it will, and it'll continue to grow. I mean, if you are, a true musician, which I believe you are, it only grows over the years. You would think that maybe over the years it would wane and kind of fade away. It actually does the absolute opposite. It completely grows and gets bigger and bigger, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a gift and a curse. I mean, it sounds like you're similar to myself, where you keep pushing yourself, you want to prove yourself, and keep reaching that next level, and that's what you need as an artist. You want to strive, and no matter how far you get, you want to keep pushing. And I see you continue to keep pushing yourself. You've released several different things now. In your clothing line, everything that you got going on is, like I said, very admirable. And I think one of the greatest things about you that most people might not know out there listening is how young you are. You just recently graduated from high school, did you not?
Yeah, I just graduated a couple weeks ago, actually.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, so what are you? I don't normally ask ages of any of my guests, but this one I think is kind of a reason to. You 18 years old at this point?
Yeah, I just turned 18 on the 16th, June 16th.
Wow. Yeah. And how long you been doing? I mean, you might have been doing music for a while now, but how long have you been doing it as like a driving thing that you're like, what, I'm going to do this at this point?
As a driving thing, I would say give it about 6 years. I've been really taking it hard seriously. I really take my music seriously.
And then that's what I said is one of the things that blows me away. I mean, right there, folks, 6 years, and she's 18 years old. So since she was 12 years old, she has known she's wanted to do music. She's pushing her music. She's writing music. She's releasing it. And like I said, at 18, she's done more than most artists that start out in the underground do in several years of seriously being in the scene. And, some farther than some have gotten altogether. So it's very, very impressive. So kudos to you on everything you've been doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Why don't you tell the fans a little bit about past releases that you had? I know we mentioned one during the beginning intro there, but why don't you tell us a little bit about that new album that you released?
Yeah, so Death Delight 2. That is the second part of one of my, I believe it was my second album. It was Death Delight. And that album was one of the most dark and raw albums that I've ever released. It was during a very dark time in my life. I remember, I believe I was in California when I was finishing up that album. And I was on the bus and I was thinking, like, writing for the album, like, what can I give the fans that they will relate to and that they can really feel me on in that album? And, what spawned from that was just, it was a fan favorite. A lot of people really enjoyed that album because there was literally no filter. Like, I didn't hold myself back. And to this day, I look back on that album and I'm just like, whoa, like that was a little much. But I think in the long run, it kept people listening to my music because they were like, okay, like I can really relate to what she's saying. And as dark as it is and as dark and gritty as that album really encompasses to be, like, I think that it says a lot about, where we are as a society and just where we are as people. And that album itself, like, it led into this album. So I really wanted to really reflect on that piece and say, okay, how can I make a part 2 to something so dark? Like, how can I lead people into my mind a little bit more, a little bit deeper? So I think that's really what, kind of inspired that piece right there.
Oh, that's beautiful, and I mean that's what you do with your art is you open up your mind and let people take a little bit of a journey into it, and people do it in different ways and to different depths. But it's nice to be able to open up your mind and share with crowds of people who, somewhere, one fashion or another, end up liking what it is that you make and relate to it. Because ultimately, that's the goal. I mean, for most artists, we do this for ourselves, but if someone else likes it, great. I mean, there are artists I know that mainly do music for the fans. Like, my fans are everything. I make what they want. Well, that's great. Now, I make what I want, as we've said in past shows, and if they like it, great. If they don't, that's okay. But you were able to kind of give music of what you were feeling and project that into your music, and you've done well. Like I said, you have
Thank you.
a heck of a following at this point, and you're so young that, I mean, to put it into perspective, I have been doing music as long as you've been alive.
Wow,
So it's like, when you think of it, it's kind of crazy, and it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, and it goes by very quick, and it's a different age, and that's cool that it's ever changing, because I mean the ways that we had to promote when we were younger are different than the tools that you have to promote, whether better or whether not. It's a different format. I mean, you don't get a lot of in street promo anymore and handing out promo cards and stuff, although it still does happen. That was the way that you got the music out back then. That was before YouTube. It was before Facebook. It was a different era, but it's such an amazing age to be a musician, but it's also a horrible age. And when I say that, it's amazing because you have so many tools at your fingertip to use that if you're at the right place at the right time with, the internet, you can be discovered, and boom, there you go. But it's also a curse because now everyone in the world does music. Everyone does everything. Like, 9 out of the 10 kids you talk to, oh, I'm a rapper, and it becomes a problem because everyone gets into your business, then it waters down and saturates your business, and it becomes harder to be heard because there's so many. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to touch on that, I think, like, it can also be a gift and a curse because lately I've seen a lot of people just solely focus on numbers, and one of the things is like, yes, numbers are going to bring in the royalties and it's really going to help you feed your music. But at a certain point, what separates, I think, just your average rapper from an artist is a person who can say, like, okay, this album might not get like thousands of plays, but it's going to be something that my core fans can really appreciate. And that to me is what makes an artist, in my opinion, is like a person who, I hate this word, but like clout, like people are just chasing that sort of attention. And it's tiring to watch that because it really takes away from the art of music, in my opinion. And when you take this stuff so seriously, it's like they're making a mockery out of something that's just so beautiful,
It really is. I mean, in the rap age, I mean, you're always going to have to, I think it almost is expected at this point that you're always going to have that material out there that it kind of ruins the genre a little bit, and it's not being made for the right reasons. And, for us true hip hop fans or rap fans and people that are actual artists, and we look at them taking the easy route and just trying to get clout and just doing whatever they can to buzz for that moment. It's sad because it does definitely taint the scene a little bit, but I mean, it's almost expected that you're always going to have that crowd. You're always going to have those people that kind of do ruin it for everybody. I think it has to be in the mix. It's like the yin and the yang. That's how it works. But that's what allows us to try to overcome that and still get ourselves heard amongst all the garbage.
Yep, yep, I feel you. Because I see how that can be a balance, and the people who can really appreciate art for what it is can really see through certain things like that. And I think that to have that ability to really see who's in it and who's just in it for the attention is a really important, aspect to have in your identity, in my opinion.
It really is, and you can see it in a lot of people's music. I mean, if you follow them and watch their videos, if you listen to their music, if you kind of watch interviews and things like that, you pick up on the sense that, okay, how much do I respect this artist if I know all they're doing is trying to make a quick buck and a quick buzz off it? It kind of ruins it for me. I am an artist through and through from start to finish, and it's like I look for that in people. When I see that striving, driving force in someone, I respect that, and I want to help that, and I want to be a part of that because I love the energy of true musicians and artists. But you have people that just come in and I'm like, oh man, I got myself a niche right now where I know if I do this, I'm going to make it big quick. And it's like, that's cool, I guess, but that's not honorable to me.
Yeah, exactly.
We got some people leaving some comments here. We have shout out to Jade. She has definitely paid her dues, in my opinion, in this underground scene. So much love to Kumar or Killer Noise. Dude's a beast himself. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. We've got a lot of people tuning in, which is great right now, so let's keep it rolling. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your starting of writing? Like, was it something that just naturally came to you right from the bat, or was it something that you really had to work at to eventually get to that point where you were pounding out songs proficiently? I mean, how did that start out for you? Because it's always different.
Yeah, so off the top, if I look back roughly 6 years ago, I used to sit on the floor in, this room in my house. And I would just do a lot of studying, like looking at artists that I like, listening to a lot of music, a mix between rap and metal, that dynamic there. And in the beginning, I used to just kind of unlock my mind a little bit. And I would piece things together. I still do this today, where I write a line and then I write a completely different line. And then what I do is I try to connect them. And the process of doing that, I think, is kind of what separates me from a lot of artists. Is a lot of people do line by line. I'm a very kind of scattered thinker. Even when I talk to people, like I kind of go from here to here to here to here. And I think that really translates into my writing style, is because a lot of it is very like, how do I want to word this? Like, it's connected, but it was written separately. So
no, it makes sense. That's interesting because I love that question. There's a lot of questions I asked throughout the interview that I like. They're a little bit different because I like to hear the different sides of how everybody's unique in that fact of writing, and that's a very unique one. I mean, I hear a lot of different things, but to write unconnected lines, just write a line and then don't even think about that line, write something completely different, and then take a look at the two of them. How can I fill in the gap? Is it going to be back-to-back lines? Is it going to be a fill-in of one bar between them? Or maybe I put 3 bars between them, but they still connected and start to kind of fill in and make it a web effect off that. I like that. That's very cool and interesting.
Yeah. And I think that well, yeah, exactly like how you said it, like connecting those different thoughts, I think makes a very interesting, like, I don't want to say this, like, it makes an interesting listen for the person who's tuning in, because it's like, okay, so she's here, but then she goes to here, but then she goes to here. Like, it's kind of a lot of different ideas. And I think that's why some people can't get with it, because you have to really, really listen to see what's going on in my music.
Well, and I that's a double-edged sword as well, because it's great to make your listeners think. You make it more than just music. You make it a challenge, because anybody can take you on a path from A to B. and it has no scenery. But you want to get the scenery, maybe you got to take the harder path. And you know what? It's more rewarding that way. But I just lost my train of thought there. It is definitely more rewarding to go that direction. Sorry, I was having a problem. I looked like I lost my internet there for a second, so it kind of threw me off my game middle of talking. I was hoping we weren't having another technical issue. Sorry, folks. But yeah, no, that makes it interesting. It makes it a different journey for the listener. So it's not just the same journey from A to B. It's a different route. They're seeing different things, and I like that because it gives a different feel. Anybody can make it the same way over and over again. When you do it differently, maybe not everybody can stay with it, but that's okay. You don't want everybody. You want it to be the select few. Now, the problem with that is sometimes that makes it harder to get bigger. But you know what? If you're like me, I never worried about that. I do what I love. I've built a hell of a little empire, and it's continuing to grow as time goes on. And the sky's the limit. So I have fun doing it. If I make it, that's amazing. If I don't, you know what? I had one hell of a time.
Same. I feel that 100%. Yeah. 100%. Like I look back on it sometimes and I reflect on it. Like if I don't blow up, that's going to be completely fine with me. As long as I have my core listeners and I know that my music is getting out there to the right people that need it. And I know that it's making an impact on let alone like just say 5 people. If it's making an impact on 5 people, I know that I'm good, because it's so important to me that it's just getting out there that I don't care if I have thousands of fans at this point. Like it's the mark that I make on people that's really gonna do it for me.
And the cool thing is that's great that you feel that way, but your music has been able to touch thousands, and you do have thousands of people that follow you at this point. So that's pretty cool as well. So I mean, it's definitely done well for itself, and it'll continue to grow, and you continue to touch people that those are the ones that mean something. It's cool to have someone come up and say, "Hey man, you're dope. I love your music." It's different when you come up and hear someone and say, I listen to you on a daily basis, and your music helps get me through hard times, and it's helped put me through some things I was going through in life, and it helped me get through that, and thank you. Without it, I don't know if I would have made it through. Those type of moments, that right there is worth 1,000 regular fans to me.
Exactly. And I love that so much. Like it's honestly insane still when people tell me things like that, because I'm just like, are you serious? Like, is this a joke? But I think that it's amazing when like it's a really good feeling when people say that, because it shows you like I have a purpose. Like growing up, like not to go to a dark space, but sometimes it's like you have these moments where it's like, what am I here for? Like what is my purpose in this gigantic universe? We're on such a small planet surrounded by entire galaxies, rogue planets, like all this stuff. But knowing that a person that's occupying the same planet as you can like actually relate to you without even ever meeting you, that's so different to me. And that's just a very interesting dynamic that I've, been honored to even, have.
It really is. I mean, it's so cool to know people are touched, and as time goes on, you just start to realize if you really push your music and you're good at what you do, that it does just spread and spread and spread, and it's amazing to look and say, wow, this many people feel like me, this many people connect with me or connected with what I had to say, and that's what I do it for. No money in the world can pay me that. No fame in the world can give me that. It's just that. I mean, there's been a few times in my career, thankfully, and I'm humbled by it, that I have gotten messages from fans a couple different times now that say that my music saved them from killing themselves. And it's weird to think about, because I write very dark, evil music. So whenever you think about like, oh yeah, your dark, evil, horrible music, helped me from not, taking my own life. It's an amazing thing. And that's the great thing about music. And we've talked about it in some past episodes, is that even though it is dark music, someone can release that tension of their life by listening to it, the same as someone who has a love and passion for country, someone who loves the blues or jazz. Just because it's a different type of music doesn't mean it's not the same feelings. And a lot of people don't understand it. They're like, oh, you listen to that dark shit, you make dark shit, okay. I can't relate to it. Well, that's fine. You don't have to relate to it. But the people that do love their music just as much as your favorite artist and how you love them. It's pretty crazy. People don't always pick up on that.
Exactly. And I was just having that same thought. Like it's weird how you can like really, how dark music can save you from a dark place. I've always thought about that. But, you know, from a listener perspective, I look back on what I used to listen to when I was in probably the lowest part of my life. Um, like I used to listen to a lot of Dead Days, a lot of Donna Rice, like all that, like just core, you know, underground type stuff, like lyrical snuff productions. That was be, you know, I used to listen to a lot of that back in the day. I still do, but it's kind of a little balanced out now. But it's crazy looking back at music like that because it was just so dark and raw and grimy and just, you know, like the average person would be like, you know, this ain't right. But back in the day, like that music really saved me, and it really made me know that a lot of the dark tension that I was dealing with, I wasn't alone. You know, it was like for so long I was in the dark. And then when I started to listen to probably like the first like real hardcore song I heard was Seldom Ever Seen by Smalls One. I heard that song. I was in like the probably like sixth, seventh grade back then. I heard that song and I was just like, whoa, this girl is dark, you know? But I felt her, and a lot of the connections that she was making, it really hit me on a personal level. And it really took me out of my mind more and made me feel like I wasn't alone, you know?
No, absolutely, and it does that. And I mean, I had the same feeling, you know, a generation before yours, and it was the beginning of ICP and Twisted and Dark Lotus and a lot of bands like that. Brother Lynch Hung in his early days and things like that, long before the Strange Music, Tech Nine, way back in the day. These early artists that I first came across, you know, 20 years ago, and just was floored by it and listened to it and it, you know, it's inspired me right away. You know, I'm like, wow, I love this. I want to make something very unique, but like this at the same time. I want to make something kind of dark, something evil. I always was into horror movies. I was always into dark shit ever since a very little child. It's just who I was. But I've always kind of done it in a different way. I like to use that darkness to help people. It's like I am, you know, tonight, putting you in a show, kind of get you out there, and that's it. I do that with artists because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I take my talents and my love for the underworld and underground and bring that to more of a span of people so that we can all hang out together, talk to one another, and get to know one another? Because that's one of the things earlier you kind of mentioned, and you said something earlier that made me think of it. Is people relate to your music across the world without even really, you know, ever getting a chance to meet you. They might never meet you or talk to you ever on chat or anything, and just relate to your music and love it. But people also form a like a fantasy character of who you are. I don't know if you noticed that. I do it myself. You listen to an artist, you listen to a lot of their music, you really don't know anything about that person, but you hear two of their albums, you really jam them, you watch a couple music videos, and then you start to feel like you know who that artist is as a person, and partially you do because you do know the workings of their mind. But we almost make up a character of who we think that person is.
Exactly.
And do you ever think about how, like, what character of Jade the NIghtmare, all the thousands of fans across the world have made in their minds? Every one of them's different.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of supporters, they will tag me in things that say like, I know one supporter had tagged me in like some nails that they think like I would get and things like that. It's like, that's pretty interesting that they can connect certain pieces of my identity to my music in a way. And I think that a lot of the stuff is really spot on. Like a lot of the things that I'm interested in that I've never spoken about, never made Facebook posts about, never, like nothing. It's interesting that they can connect those two things, like in certain things that I'm interested in. I've always found that pretty interesting. And people like, they make up, you know, different ideas of who Jade the NIghtmare really is, you know, like how dark she is, how just, you know, unfiltered I am. And I think that that's, you know, just really interesting to me. And I've always like appreciated that about my supporters, is that no matter how dark my music gets, like I say some really like off the wall stuff in my music sometimes, like no matter like how crazy the lyrics get, like they, you know, it's like they can piece that together and they'll be like, they understand, you know. And I think that's what connects me to my fan base so much, is like they understand, because growing up I didn't have it like that, you know. Like in school, like I was usually like the only kid like me, you know. I've always felt kind of isolated from society, isolated from peer groups, isolated just within even the walls of, you know, some of my households and things like that. It's like, it's been really important to me to have that connection, you know, and for them to be able to piece together who I am, like that's on a whole nother level in my eyes.
And it's truly, like you said, it's amazing that they can pick up on things and know things about you, because more translates through your music than you even realize. I mean, just because you're saying these things and they may pick up on certain elements of those things you're saying, sometimes they pick up, as you said, on things that you didn't, you know, give them in the music, and they start to kind of piece together things. What's also weird, like I said, sometimes they come up with characters of who you are that might, when if they met you in person, start to kind of play a role. It's like fantasy role play almost in some weird way. And we don't do that with any other type of arts, if you think about it. If you look at a painting of something or a drawing, you don't automatically assume you know who the artist is. If you watch a movie with an actor, you know they're just acting, so you don't assume who that actor is. It's strange that, you know, whenever we listen to music, we do that to artists. You know, we listen to a song and, you know, an album, and we're like, oh yeah, I kind of know who that guy is. I feel like I relate to him. It's so much different. It's the only art, if you think about it, that we actually do that.
That
Very
exactly.
Very, very strange. That's a cool point. I just came across that, like I said, when we were talking. It just kind of hit me, and I was thinking about that exact topic. I'll have to use it on other shows. That's a good one. We have a lot of comments coming in. I know there was a question asked for you. Morbid Psychosis asked, who would be your dream collaboration?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. My dream collab. Ooh, I would have to say, I would love to work with Disturbed.
Disturbed?
Yeah, I would love to
Okay.
work with Disturbed. You know, that's like pretty far out there, but you know, dreams are dreams for a reason. Like, I would love to work with Disturbed. Like, their music is just, it hit me, you know? And that was another band growing up that really just, I related to, you know, the lyrics, like, it made me feel something, you know? In times of numbness, when you can feel something just through music, that is, that's how you know that music really has a place in this world, you know, to really save people and bring people out the darkness.
It does. It saves a lot of lives, a lot more than the artist will ever know. I mean, you'll never know as an artist how many lives you've touched, because we don't see it from that set of eyes. We see it from the artist's perspective, but we don't know for the fans that are listening. I mean, it's hard for me to think of when a fan says, oh, I like listening to your album and stuff. Great. You don't think about it too much, but when a fan says, like, I listen to you every day, I listen to you religiously, like you are one of my favorite artists in the world. I have all of your albums and I'm constantly playing it. It's crazy to think that every day you just go on about your life and you don't think about it, but at that person's house, they're jamming your music, they're relating to it, they're vibing to it. It's something to, you know, really think about, that many people's lives you've touched.
Yeah, that exactly.
And
Yeah.
Disturbed definitely did that. You know, back at the time period, that was my point I was getting to. Is I remember them coming out, and there was another band that touched me, and then some of the bands you named, which is awesome. You know, your influences, Corey Taylor. You know, so Slipknot back in the day, Disturbed, Chester Bennington in Linkin Park. I remember being 12 years old, and my father taking me to Ozfest, and it was my very first concert, and it was Slipknot, Marilyn Manson, Papa Roach, Linkin Park.
Ooh.
I can't remember if System of a Down was down there that year or not, but it was just a phenomenal lineup. And I remember being a kid and hearing Disturbed when they first came out in Linkin Park and everything, and that was my shit. That was I loved it. That was where I came from. I'm actually a metal kid who does hip hop. I've done both, you know, for quite a long time, but I'd never get it twisted. I've always been a metal kid. And I remember going to that first concert and seeing those bands live and seeing the thousands of people, and to my 12-year-old little mind, it changed it forever. And you know, there's moments like that. You know, what was your first concert? What bands did you get to see? It doesn't even have to necessarily be your first concert, but what was the first one that you seen that you were just like, wow?
I know, unfortunately, I haven't been able to make a concert, but like, I think the first band that I remember listening to was Korn. Like, I was blown away when I first heard Korn. Like, just looking back at how I was feeling, like, ooh, like,
Well,
Korn really did it for me.
That's a good one too. Yeah, because I know that when I read the bio, that you did mention Jonathan Davis. Yeah, and that was another one that I've seen several times over the years that they're phenomenal live. They put on a wonderful performance. Even still, every time I've probably seen them at this point about 6 or 7 times, and every time they're on point. Most of those bands are. That's why they are in the position that they're in. I mean, it's truly great to see after all these years these bands are still killing it. And a lot of artists can't hang on like that. A lot of artists are around for a short period of time and they vanish. They're a flash in the pan, but some of them get to last a very long time, and those ones have stood for quite a distance of time. And then you got bands obviously like the Rolling Stones that still perform from time to time and tour, and it's like 55, 60 years later, which is just insane. It's pretty cool to see that when you are a true musician, you never really let it go. You can't.
Yeah. That's pretty dope that you got to see them like actually come out though, like I wish I actually got to like come up with them. Like that's pretty dope in my eyes. Like kudos to you. That's dope.
It was a really cool time. I will say that. I mean, that's one thing is being a little bit younger, you missed out on that specific wave because that was a wave. And sometimes throughout music, and it's not everyone's generation, but it's certain generations, you have different waves of music. In the 70s, you had all the hippie and peace and love music that came out at that time that was never anything before like it and after. I mean, it was that wave at that time. And I happened to be lucky enough to come up in that metal wave where all those bands, like I said, Linkin Park, Papa Roach, Korn, System of a Down, Disturbed, I mean, all of them came out, Slipknot, all at the same time. And that was right at the time that I was around 11 and 12 years old. And I just started high school. So I did meet a couple other kids that were into that type of music because no one I really knew was. So whenever I flipped into high school, it was like, all right, sweet. And our high school was 7th through 12. So, I mean, we started at 12 years old there. And I remember meeting a couple other metal kids, and then I was starting to go to concerts, like I said. It was definitely a life changer. I know you said you haven't been to any shows yet. That is something that we need to change. You need to get out to one. There's no feeling in the world like it, and you need to experience that because that'll just amplify. That'll amplify, your passion that you have now. If you think you love it now, you are about to get a slap in the face of reality once you go see it live and get that rush that you pick up from it.
For real. Like, for real. I would have died back then if I grew up in that era. Like, I would have really, yeah. I don't know. I would have died. I would have been so geeked.
It was a good time. One of my favorites at the time was Lamb of God, which is still one of my favorite bands in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamb of God came out at that time period. I remember being like front row with them. And I mean, I've been fortunate enough over the years to go see a lot of concerts. I mean, me and my wife especially, we went to just so many. But I've seen thousands and thousands of shows at this point. And everyone you can think of, I've kind of went and seen. I made it my bucket list to go see every big band that I ever wanted to go see. There's a few left on my list. Some of them I couldn't get to because either they passed away or the band ended, but I slowly kind of check marked a lot of them off, and that it becomes a love, it becomes an addiction once you start going to those shows because you want to see each band, see how they perform live, the chemistry that they have, because you get a buzz off it. You get a similar buzz than when you're on stage killing it, but in a different fashion, if that makes sense. And that kind of brings me to my next question. So you said about not really being out to shows. Does that mean that you have yet to perform yourself?
Yeah, I have not performed yet, unfortunately.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That needs to happen because you have good music. You have a great brand, and that's an important thing to an artist is a brand. And you have that. You have the branding, the name, the art, the vision, the look to your art. You have developed that look and that branding very well. So the next step for you, I definitely think, would be to get you more into the live performance area.
Yeah.
And get you performing that, add to your stage show and make it something to see.
Yeah, it's definitely in the works. I've put that kind of in my head, on what I've been wanting my performances to look like. And I spent like the last 6 years, like I've said, just kind of building everything together. Because, back then I was like, do I really want to do a show if the people aren't going to be there that need to be there? Not necessarily like number wise, but the people that can truly appreciate the art that I'm putting out there. So over time,
you're at a good age to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely in the works.
Well, that's great because, like I was just about to say, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. You kind of cut out there for a second. I thought you'd stop talking. You're at a great age to do so because you're only 18 years old, and it's the whole world's still ahead of you. I mean, like I said, you have years and years to build that brand which you already have established at 18. So, I mean, even if it takes another 10 years to be fluent in the scene performance-wise, you're only 28 years old at that point, and by that point, you'll have thousands and thousands of fans. You'll have more merch. You'll have even a bigger persona to you and look to you, and it's going to be amplified, and you'll still only be 28 years old. So that's magnificent. The earliness to your career already is truly an asset to you, and I hope that you know that is one of the biggest things that you can have going for you, that you're this well established and already doing this good for yourself at only 18.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I always ask some silly questions throughout the interview as well, to kind of break up just the actual questions themselves. And I always ask some funny different things. This one, I ask, if you had to describe your life, or who you are, I should say, if you had to describe who you are from the perspective of your animal, what do you think that they would say about you as a person?
I got 3 dogs, so let me think. I think the one I'm around the most would probably say I'm literally doing the most, because like I'm such a active person. Like I can't sit still, and I don't even have like ADHD, or I don't have none of that. Like I literally cannot stay in the house. If I stay in the house, I'm cleaning the entire house. Like I cannot stay still for the life of me. So I would think, my pet would probably just say like, chill, like sit down a little bit, like you're doing too much, Like I don't know, I just can't stay still,
No, that's okay. I mean, hey, so you got a busy mind. That's kind of like me. I mean, I am constantly on the go. I am involved in so many things that I have a lot of people, fan wise, will tell me, "How do you do it all?" And I'm like, I really don't actually know, but somehow I pull it all off and I make it look good. I'm like, so I must be doing something right, but I'm always on the go. I can't sit still either. I just have to be busy. I have to be creating. I have to be doing something, or I feel like, what's the point? So it's like, it's what keeps me alive.
Exactly. Like if I'm either doing music, I'm making art, or I'm working on a video. Like there's no in between. I'm doing something, That exactly.
And then while we're talking about that, I know that that's a great segue into it. You just mentioned video. Did you not recently just create and finish a music video, I believe?
Yep. Alla did Bitque. I just dropped that music video about, I think it was maybe roughly like 2-3 months ago. That was my most recent one that I just dropped.
And tell the fans where they can check that out at.
So that one is available on YouTube currently. It is one of my most recent videos under Hellborn. Yeah, so it's available for streaming at the moment. If you guys can check that out, I will greatly appreciate it so much. I put so much effort into that video, from filming to directing. Like I did everything that you see in that video, everything. Like I film by myself and edit by myself, like everything in that video. So if you guys can shed some love on it, I will greatly appreciate it so much.
That's awesome. I mean, that's one. It kind of leads me into something else I was going to ask you earlier. Is I knew that you dabbled in a little bit beyond just the music, and I was going to have you tell the fans what all you do. So obviously, you just did say that you did the filming and the directing, the editing of that video. You obviously do music, and record. But what else is it do you do? Like what all do you have your hands in as far as the music side of things and the artistic side?
Literally everything. So aside from, recording, I do engineering, I do video production, that video side aspect. I do lyric videos. I do like art pieces. So I paint, I do like sculpting type stuff. Let me think, what else do I do? I consider, my merch line a little bit of art, because you have to really make sure that your designs are looking well. So I compose certain things. And although I have typically other artists bring my ideas together to create my merch, but I have to kind of know what vision I'm having. So I do a storyboard on exactly how I want certain things to look. So I think
That's awesome.
on the art side, yeah.
You definitely have the art down. I mean, you have a very good look, like I said to you, and we've already mentioned. And then one of my favorite designs is, I'm not sure who did it for you, but the Hellraiser with Jade the NIghtmare on the front of it as Hellraiser's pinhead. That is awesome. That's my favorite design that I've seen. I'm like, wow, because I'm a big fan of Hellraiser, and that was back in my time period too. So when it came out, I remember seeing that as a kid, fresh, and it was awesome. awesome. And that was one of those movies that stuck with me that I'm like, wow, like this movie just changed my life as far as a horror movie goes. And I watch a lot of horror, so maybe not so much these days because the time is so scarce as things get more and more busy. But I have spent once upon a time a lot of hours and days and months of watching horror movies, and that was one that was always one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was little and I first seen like a Hellraiser movie, like I was like, this is creepy, you know. And I love just like that creepy vibe. I've always been on kind of a creepy type thing. And although it's creepy, I think a lot of my art tells a story if you kind of really think about it. I'm not sure if you've seen the art for my EP called Suffer, but that one's probably the most complex pieces that I've done.
I'd have to look at it again. I know I've looked at a good chunk of your artwork. I'd have to see which one it was and see if I've seen it or not. But all of your art is very, very good, and that's
Thank
another
you.
thing that most artists don't put value into, and it's sad because I feel that that's one of the most important elements. And if you're going to have shortcomings somewhere, I wouldn't put it in the artistic, arena. I wouldn't do it in the recording production, and I wouldn't do it in your artwork. If you want to do it in other areas, maybe that here and there, I guess if you can't stay strong everywhere. But if you're going to have shortcomings somewhere, don't put it into your audio sound or your look, because those are the two most important things as an artist that you have to have captured. You need to be consistent. You need to be clear and crisp and good in quality, and then you have to have a good look to you that people recognize you. You can't have one design that gives you this feeling and then a completely 180 spin to another design of something opposite that doesn't make sense, because it confuses fans and that actually hurts you as a business. You have to have something that is consistent. Whenever I see it, I know it's Jade the NIghtmare's merchandise. I know it's her music when I hear it, and that's what you have to really try to make it somewhere and make your mark. And like I said, I think you have that in both. We talked about that and discussed that over the show, that your music is a little bit different. The writing style is a little bit different. Your artwork's a little bit different. Your look, so you have something that really captures people from a different angle than they're used to seeing, which is what we like. And I like the answer on the dog question. Jumping back to that it would just tell you, hey, sit still. You're going a little bit crazy. I'm the one that should be crazy. I'm the dog, but you're the one that's going a little bit nuts over there. And like I think my pets would probably say that same thing. Like, dude, just lay down. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And another one that we always ask is, what is the one thing that you've done that you don't regret doing, but you would surely never do it again? So you've done it, and you look back and you're like, wow, I don't regret it, but I just certainly would never, ever do that again. It doesn't have to just be in music. It can be whatever in general that, it strikes you.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave this like a little open-ended, but I think giving my, how do I want to word this? Giving my all to certain people, the type of person that I am, I'm a very passionate person, whether it's for music, friendships, anything in general. And I feel like being as passionate of a person as I am, it has its curses and its gifts. And certain people, they just can't appreciate certain things, so that's kind of, I don't regret it, but I think like I would change how I gave my passion for certain people. It's kind of weird.
I can understand that, because you have to watch yourself. I mean, it's just like boxing. I can look at life like it's boxing, and what I mean by that is, if you keep guarded at all times and all you do is guard yourself, you're never going to be able to take the strikes at life and the punches at life to be able to get anywhere. You're never going to win. So you can't be completely shut off and completely guarded. But you also can't just throw your arms to the side and be wide open and let everybody in and want to help everybody and leave your heart open to everyone out there, because you leave yourself wide open to take all the abuse of the world and all the shit that's going to get thrown at you. So you have to kind of find that middle ground, that where I got my guard up a little bit to protect myself, but I'm also willing to be a little bit open. And you have to be like that with your music, like that with your life. Because if you're fully open, you hurt yourself. If you're fully closed off, you're hurting yourself, because you're never giving yourself the opportunity. So you have to find that even balance. So I completely understand where you're coming from there, because when you put a lot of faith into people, when you leave yourself open, there's a lot of room for them to hurt you. And unfortunately, a lot of people, whether they just don't care or they just you'll make mistakes. People often fail you.
Yes, exactly. And that goes along with like the law of attraction too, is, just certain people, they can bring that sort of like negative energy. And by negative energy, I don't mean like a person who's interested in dark things. I mean a person who's just not very, how do I want to say this? Like they're just not very ready to go, like they're just trying to stay back here. They're not trying to go forward. They're not trying to propel you. They're not trying to propel themselves. They're just ready to stay stuck. And just certain people like that, I just can't rock behind, because it's just like it hurts them, it hurts me. And as much as I can try to lead your hand through the darkness, if you don't want to come along with me, then I'm going to have to walk away and lead myself through solo.
I think that's it. I mean, you have to have that point where I can't take you and hold your hand the whole way through this. You got to do it on your own, because unfortunately people want their hands held and walk through everything, and you can't baby them, because when you leave yourself open like that, like I said, then and that's when they're gonna really surprise you and you're not going to see it coming.
Exactly.
No, I think this would be a good segue right now to jump into without giving you guys any more delay. Let's jump into one of Jade The NIghtmare's songs. How about we go with, unless you want to pick a certain one, but I was thinking we go with Meet Your Maker.
Yeah, I'm down.
Why don't you tell us real quick a little bit about this track and we'll jump right into it.
Yep, so Meet Your Maker is featured on my latest album, Death the Light 2, and it really is just talking about meeting the higher power in life, not necessarily a god, just a higher power. And I don't really ever specify who that higher power is, but it's just me speaking to them and also speaking from their perspective. So it's kind of that dynamic between those two. Yep.
Okay, I love it. Well, let's jump into it and hear it. So you heard it right from our own mouth, folks. This is Jade The NIghtmare, and this is Meet Your Maker on Uncovering the Underground. We'll be right back after.
From my veins, revenant, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Blood leaks from my veins. Rev it up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Slip of I love to see your pain into a face. In the inside, slide down a drain. To go queen and fight peasants, liars and mine. But my soul, I will never die. Blood lost, homicide in our eyes. In front to ignite my rage. Scream louder when I feel okay. Say what I toss, say this in my name. When I die, when I flame, do not cry for no shame. But I feel no pain, so in the rain. So do not feel the fame. Tough friends, pushing me in the game. Magazine, my carcass, I need every day. Beat 'em up, and it fills me up with rage. We are beast up in the cage. The world is dying, welcome to a new race. Resurrection, intersection, I'm hell in heaven's gates. When ashes pour, rain, interaction with the beast. Wisdom all going to beast. Welcome to the triple 666. Afraid of crucifix, six last supper. Welcome to your final feast. As the Bible pages burn, angels preach, black arrange, check. Wavy humans burn the ashes. Simply me there, not collapse the fastest. They cheer to cross slow molasses. How you see our space rocks and find our crashes. This the mark of the beast, no remorse. Only the chosen one will be spared at least. Take a seat, this is the start to the end. Blood leaks from my veins. Revenant, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace. Blood leaks from my veins. Rev it up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause innocence grace.
And we're back on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show. I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and that was Meet Your Maker by Jade The NIghtmare. We have her here on the line tonight. We are interviewing her, getting to find out who she is behind the scenes as a person, as an artist, and just have some fun discussions. Great track. I hope you guys liked it. If you were listening out there, drop us your thoughts and feedback in the instant message section here on Spreaker Podcast Radio app, or you can drop it on Facebook on some of the posts, and we'll answer back, but we won't see those until after the fact. So engaging us on the instant message is always the best way to reach us. So go ahead and drop some comments on there. Like I said, if you were listening in, let us know if you have any questions for her. You know, we're always happy to snag a fan's questions and ask that during the show, or give you a shout out, things of that nature. So feel free to engage us. So, you know, what time period did you write that? How new is that song? How old is that song? Tell us a little bit about when that was written, what album that's off of.
Yeah, of course. So Meet Your Maker, the album released around Halloween. So prior to that, I think I wrote that song about a year ago. And in that place in my life, I was really questioning everything. That was kind of the questioning portion of my life thus far. I really was, you know, thinking of how just us as humans, we don't know a lot, you know? We live on such a very small speck of humanity itself. It's like we really do not know everything. Who is to say that they know anything? So a lot of that album and that song specifically is just like asking and just really wondering, like, where are we? You know, like, it's going to sound crazy, but just like, just questioning everything, you know? And I think my
right
process
there,
of writing that song, yeah.
Well, that right there is the highlight of the night. I always pick out something that's said every show and say that's the hashtag of the night. And that right there, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that right there is the hashtag of the night, is absolutely question everything. That is what needs to be told to everyone out there, because if you blindly listen to everything you're told, as you said, who's to say what is real, what is true? Because all we're going off of is what the news tells us, what the media tells us, the movies, the music. We're living in a world that's fabricated around us for entertainment that is our sole source of education. And that's a scary thing when your entertainment becomes your sole source of education and how we perceive life and what we take it in as and believe. That is a problem, because who knows if anything is real. So folks, question everything.
That exactly, you know? And I think another side of that is just the person who believes that they know nothing, they truly know everything, because it's like, if you're opening up your mind to some things that you may not truly understand, but if you just are willing to listen, to hear multiple sides of even just one thing, that shows you that we can all be looking at the exact same picture, but depending on whose eyes you're looking through, it looks different from every single perspective, which means that doesn't mean any of us are right. That doesn't mean any of us are wrong, but it just shows you that there is not solely just one way of thinking of one thing. It's not just black and white. And I think that that's one of the things that I try to translate into my music is I ask a lot of questions in my songs. I do a lot of back and forth. I do a lot of contradicting. I do a lot of just, you know, like I said, just questioning that everything. It's just, that truly is what I feel like I encompass as an artist. Is I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in everything. I just like to just see from different sides of every single perspective.
Well, you need to, because if you look at everything from the same viewpoint, you're only ever going to see the same things.
Yeah.
And, you know, what fun's that? You know, you can climb the mountain 20 different ways, but if you climb it the same exact way every single time, you're seeing the same exact view. It might be pretty, but you know what? It's going to get kind of boring after a while. So you have to take different routes and different ways of looking at things, because ultimately that puts together a bigger picture. It makes you more of a well-rounded artist rather than just being stuck on that same exact thing. And that's the problem a lot of artists have, and people in general, is they want to follow the same exact route. They're afraid to branch out. They're afraid to take that step. I'm good at what I do now. I'm just going to ride it out, rather than saying I'll take a step into the unknown because it's scary. And that's the problem. And then you have to not be afraid to journey into the unknown. Yes, it might not work out. It might. You never know. It could go either way, but you won't know if you don't do it.
Yep, exactly.
And that's something I want to see for you. I mean, I think being so young, doing so much as you already have, that there's so much room to branch out and do things that, over time, you could do anything you really wanted to do, because most artists at the point where they have the music out that you do and they're as established as you are already in, their mid 20s or late 20s at this point, maybe even 30s. So that, they're at a point where they don't have as much time to branch out, because how much longer can they do this for? Whereas you're so fresh and young to the scene, but still have done so much that, like I said, 10 years is a long time, and you can accomplish a lot in 10 years, and you'll still be under 30 years old, which is just amazing. So once again, I'm hitting that point hard tonight, folks. It's great because if you teach your children out there to, get into music, to let them hear music, to get music involved in their lives, it can become a passion of theirs, and it can be something that they start young, and by the time they're graduating high school, they already have a promising future for themselves. So please, if you have kids out there, teach your kids music. Let them see music. It's an important thing, and it's a lifesaver, as we also talked about on the show tonight. Is it saves the people's lives making the music, and it saves a lot of fans' lives listening to it. So bring that into your child's life, into your family's life, into your life, because it's very healthy.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look and see if we missed any comments over on the side. I try to keep up with them throughout the show. Doesn't look like it. There was a bunch of talk about past hip-hop artists that were really good during one of our questions that we were talking about earlier. So I got to ask you, if you had to battle, what would you choose? Would you rather fight a horse-sized beaver or 100 beaver-sized horses?
I would probably do. What was it? 100 horse.
So you either have 100 little beaver-sized horses.
Yeah.
Or one horse-sized beaver.
I would probably do the 100. Yeah.
Okay. So you're fighting the little critters. Okay. Do you have
Yeah,
any specific?
that would just be that would be so funny to me. I would be cracking up the whole time. I wouldn't even care.
Do you have a method of attack? Do you have a game plan and strategy for how you would win this battle?
Nah, I'm gonna just kick them and that's it. I'm gonna just be laughing. Let's be honest. Like, I would be cracking up because
Because I mean, come on. I mean, who could, who wouldn't laugh at that? You see a little beaver-sized horse, it's a funny thing. You see 100 of them, it's pretty damn funny. So,
yeah.
I always like to surprise people with that one. I've asked that many times. It's a funny question. I like to really, like I said, break it up and keep it moving. So, why don't you tell us what is in store next for you? What is your plan? What's the next project you're releasing? What is the next video? What do you have coming up that we should have on our radar and be anxious to see and hear?
So I have a lot in store. Let's see. Let me think about what I actually want to tease out, though.
Yeah, don't give us too much if you're not ready for it. You can only give us just a little bit. Make us want it.
Yeah, so I mean, just expect more music videos, of course. So I'm gonna be starting college actually in August, and I'll be doing music industry studies. So I'm gonna kind of branch out a little bit. Expect a lot more on the merch line. I really want to expand my merch more than I already have right now, but it's really about to go like, expect more of that. And just for music, I plan on releasing a lot more singles. I've noticed I haven't really released a lot of singles. I've done a lot of albums, but I really want to start putting singles out a little bit more often to really push those individual songs so more people hear them. So just, expect me being me, I'm gonna put it out.
Absolutely. And we were just talking about that, I believe, last show, which would have been 2 weeks ago. It's weird saying it because it's normally every week, but 2 weeks ago when we interviewed my homie Nasty Inc., he had mentioned, and me and him were talking about that same type of thing, that I am also looking at more singles these days than I have. I released 6 albums. I've been on enough collabs to make easily another 2 full-length albums. So it's like there's a lot of work in that regard, but I want to release more singles. So I have a slew of singles sitting around here right now. I probably have 6 or 7 of them sitting right now that haven't been released, and I'm just kind of stockpiling them. And I'm just going to start releasing singles from here time to time. And I am also working on my album slowly, but I'm not working on it, as a full thing because I'm releasing the singles. I'll let the album come together as I want to, and in the meantime, release some good singles. But I want to focus on that as well as pushing that single more and having that single heard more than a spread out effect on a whole album.
Yep. Now that I think
That,
about it, up next, I have Drop Dead. That's going to be the next single that I drop. That one's going to be dropping hopefully by mid-July.
awesome. What's that song about? What caused you to, can you give us a little bit of a teaser? I know you might not want to because you might just want to drop it on fresh, but do you want to give us a little bit of a teaser of what that track's going to be about?
Yeah, so Drop Dead is kind of leading on to the style that I've been kind of trying. It's kind of new, but not really. It's just a more of a mix of my kind of rap and metal type style. So that one's really going to hit heavy. The name itself, Drop Dead, when you hear Drop Dead, you hear a very negative tone to that. And I think that song kind of, it's a very angry track. You're going to hear it, but it's a very angry track. It kind of is just telling people that don't believe in you, people that say that you're not going to amount to anything, just tell them, like, drop dead. Like, who are you to say who I'm going to be, and not to, wish death upon anybody, but just using that phrase, just tell them, let me do me. If you want to stay in that dark place and you want to stay over there while I'm trying to propel and make myself better, meanwhile leading people out of the darkness, just, keep that to yourself,
No,
so that'll be Drop Dead. Yep.
Yeah, because the negativity doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, you might not agree with what I make. You might not like what I make. You might not like my decisions, but you know what? They're mine to make. It's my mistakes to make. And you go do you, I'll do me. Drop dead, leave me alone. I don't care about it. I'm not telling you how to live your life. Don't tell me how to live mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump into, if you don't mind, I think we're going to do 3 songs tonight. We have enough time, I think, for it. We do have Hellborn. Do you want to play that song tonight or no?
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do Hellborn. Let's do Hellborn.
It's featuring Bill Saber, and it's the master track too. Does that sound like the right one?
Yeah, that should be right.
If not, folks, you're getting a rare cut of it. We'll listen in just to make sure. But we're going to jump into Hellborn from Jade The NIghtmare featuring Bill Saber. Give us one moment. We're going to jump into it here on Uncovering the Underground.
Yeah. Begging for a friend, let she know she got a tippy top. She said she got pussy or the mine, and I said get me bill. I ain't got time to be dealing with you silly folks. Bless them with another dose, stick her with another pole. Just overkill, I overdose. Swallow to the day you choke. Same story, I suppose. $1 million corner stores, lady hide in my mind. Dollar signs, straight jacket, crooked guys. Betty Crocker, cooking guys. Seen him in his new disguise. Tweaking, see him put another pussy nigga through the sign. He need it, beat this whole nigga ass for the vine. And teach him, he crying out, he begging for his mama. She cheated, baby girl, we steezing. Yeah, steezing. Pull the pussy out so I can tell her how to tease it. Freeze it, when she suck my freeze it. Yeah, that's my Chi-Chi, I'm the go-go to a freezer. Look first, last face, play crazy. Watch you flip, I'm gonna watch you flip. I'ma sever every single stitch. I'm the contact edge in case that both arrows through the neck brace. I don't wanna hear what you gotta say. Yo, switch up 12 shades, what it erase, bloody face with every race from Mars. I sound the Mars, I recognize change with the mind. I'm blind, just can't wait to take over what is mine. Prestige killer, the energy I deliver. Quicker than Kennedy's hip, don't back by the trigger. That neck hawk back. Yo, dog in the pen, you will get crowded. Hands in my room and you will get surrounded. Ain't them mistakes, we live in the fountain. Looking for blood and I think that I found it. I'm on the same one than a mental patient. The stuff is reckless, massive famines in my basement. So when my heart is on talk, if you ain't got the payments out of my lane, is you is remaining nameless. Looking back on the earth, this monster reaper must surface several aspects of my purpose, but never can understand why I feel so worthless and traumatized, like preteen boys after getting baptized. And man, I'm fainting. Yeah, tease it. Pull the pussy out so I can tell her how to tease it. Freeze it, when she suck my freeze it. Yeah, that's my Chi-Chi, I'm the go-go to a freezer. Yo, stick, I'm cutting it back. It's a bit of yak, ripping it, stitching it back. Suit too tight, let me zip that. Quarter saying we taking it back, whole life. That's fist, cut knife, cut throat. I spin in the face, we'll see they choke. 2 no months, signs of life. Talking that dead on arrival. Ruthless with the pen like it's my survival. Keep the blinds low. Nobody knows once you enter the pen, there's no return until the dividend is earned. Remember how you didn't take me seriously. Now I get to watch you burn. And watch you burn. Cause I'm part of that cult life. Cut life and cult life. Cut life and cut life. Cult life and cut life. Cult life and cut life. Hey, baby girl, we steezing. Yeah, steezing. Pull the pussy out so I can tell her how to tease it. Freeze it. When she suck my freeze it. Yeah, that's my Gigi. I'm the go-go to a freezer. Yeah, tease it. Pull the pussy out so I can tell her how to tease it. Freeze it. When she suck my freeze it. Yeah, that's my Gigi. I'm the go-go to a freezer.
And we're back on Uncovering the Underground. I'm Skippy Ickham, your host. We got Jade The NIghtmare on the line, and that was her song Hellborn featuring Bill Saber. Definitely a pretty intense track. I was listening to it during the break. I dig it. Why don't you tell us, how yours and his partnership came together on that song for the collaboration? Was that something that, you both equally wanted to do that song? You reached out to him. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I reached out to him. It was a long time ago. This song is like long. Like it was in the works for a very long time. I reached him, I think, like December of either a year or two ago, something like that. And I was trying to think of kind of how I wanted the song to sound. I was like, I really want to not do techno, but I wanted to do something that's a little bit different. Like that kind of the beat that you hear, it's more of I don't know really how you would describe it. It's kind of like a little bit of dubstep, but it's kind of that like hard, heavy kind of trap metal sound to it. So yeah, I just reached out to him. I was like, hey, you want to do a track? He let me know what his rates are, and we made it happen, and he killed it. And I'm so grateful for him for jumping on that track, because at his level, like, it's kind of hard to work with people at his level because he's kind of blowing up a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, no, he did a killer job on the track, as did you. But I mean, he brought it. So from a hiring perspective, he gave you a product that definitely was solid. So that's great. It's a great collaboration, great track, and as you said, he's got a nice name for himself and doing pretty well. So it's nice to be able to work with those type of people, and that's fun. Over the years, you work with more and more bigger names, and it's cool to think about. I look back on it sometimes, and I say that I have worked with handful of my favorite artists of all time, and it's like that's hard to think about, to know that I listened to these guys when I was younger, and then I'm like, oh shit, okay, I've worked with them now, I've done songs with them, I've performed with them or done songs live with them. It's a humbling thing. It's like, wow, anything is obtainable and able to be reached if you truly want it bad enough.
Yeah, for sure. If you really work for it and if you really put your heart into it, anything will come your way. Yeah.
What is your ultimate goal? Obviously, you said you're someone who's happy with only reaching the people who truly feel your music and love your music, and if it gets bigger and bigger, that's awesome. It doesn't have to. But what is your goal? What is it you strive for and want to see yourself? What's your 5 and 10 year plan, so to speak, of where you see yourself?
So, aside from getting a house, I would say just this kind of open-ended one, but I just really want to take care of my family, And the community that I come from, Montbello, where I just graduated from, the community that I spent my entire childhood from, I just want to give back to them, and just really show them that it's possible. And by showing that, I think if I just I'm not really sure what it's going to look like, but I think if I just put my music out there enough and I'm able to support myself and my family, that's going to show that anything is possible at this point.
It really is. The sky's the limit. There's nothing that stops you in this realm other than yourself. As long as you're willing to keep getting back up when you fall down, and you trust me, you'll definitely fall down from time to time. As long as you get up and dust off and keep pushing, then you will get to the peaks that you want to climb to. It's just about perseverance is definitely one of the most top qualities you have to do what you're wanting to do, and I think you have that. So you're just going to keep pushing, and it's good to see that you want to give back to the area you're from, to the people that you grew up with and were around, and give back to the community, because the community's important. That's also part of what helps shape you as an artist.
Yeah. Perseverance. Perseverance has always been key for me. Like, I've been through some of the most darkest things that I've ever dealt with. I mean, even being only 18 years old, like, I can say that a lot, like, dealing with deaths, like, back to back, dealing with even just friendship deaths back to back, like kids being shot up in my community, like things like that are some of the most dark things that I've ever encountered. And just knowing that I can use my music to make the world even a better place, by even how dark my music is, I feel like it helps people, and I feel like that's a positive outcome.
It really is. It absolutely is. And I'm looking. There was a comment that popped up, and then before I got a chance to read it, it vanished again. I don't know if they deleted it off or what. It popped up and it went away. So we didn't get a chance to catch that one. So let's see. What else do we want to ask you tonight? We've dived pretty far into your brain already on a lot of different things in the short hour and 17 minutes that we've been on there. We've got a lot more accomplished. Sometimes episodes go a little slower, so I'm impressed with all your straightforward answers and solid answers on all of them. So kudos to you on that factor as well.
Yeah, of course.
Who do you have any collaborations coming up in the near future? Obviously we just talked about your collaboration with Bill, but do you have anything else that you are able to announce or release right now, or anything you maybe even working on? You might not have any right at the moment that you're working on coming up, or who we can expect to see you working alongside.
I really want to work with Gizmo. It's still kind of in its early stages, but I've been kind of reaching out to him and seeing how we can get that in progress, but it's still in its early stages. So I wouldn't say that that's coming up anytime soon. But as far as collaborations, I'm kind of, just working with myself right now. So I'm going to kind of stay away from collaborations unless people reach out to me, then that's going to be dope. But, I'm just, being Jade right now, just seeing where it goes, kind of putting the building blocks together, and we're going to see what happens.
No, you have to take time for yourself, because I've studied, and done a lot of things to put together really good collaboration albums, and I put together a few that were, very dope, and I had a few solo albums as well, that were strictly me, and I love them both in different ways, but there for a couple albums in a row, I did do a lot of collaborations, and it was awesome, but I had to take some time back to get some Ickham time, because I needed that time to get back to my artistry that's solely me and not the collab side of me, which is great. Both of them are individually awesome, but you have to have that time for yourself as an artist, because if you start to forget who you are as an artist, then you start to go down a different path, and that's not always a good one. So you want to try to always remind yourself and get back to where you once were.
Exactly. And I'm always on the path of kind of exploration. Like, I really dip my toes in a lot of different genres and just how I want things to sound. Like, I've never, like Hellborn, like I've never done a track on kind of a dubstep type beat. So I was thinking, like, am I going to be able to pull this off? And I just, I just go for it. Like, I'm just like, even back in the day, like I made a couple like R&B type songs. Like, they're dark still, but it's like kind of that R&B type sound, and it's crazy. I just have yet to put them out because they're not as polished, but it's like I dip my toes in a lot of different stuff, and I think if I actually put that sort of music out there, like, people will see kind of how versatile I can be as an artist. And I think that, I think I just want to kind of explore a little bit more.
And exploring is good, and it never hurts to have a stockpile of music, as we were talking about in one of the last episodes that we had here on Uncovering the Underground, that it never hurts to have a good chunk of extra music out there. I mean, you can always release it, but you don't have to. If you don't want to, that's fine, but you have it in case you want to, and it's nice to have, because someday you might not be ready for it to be released. Now, you might listen to it for the next 5 years and say, you know what, nah. But then there might be 5 years from now, the change in life that you have, your mind will change. And that's one thing I can promise you, is being as young as you are, from now to the time you're my age, you will change a couple different times mentally, more than you would think possible. Literally your mind completely evolves and changes into a different person. You'll still be you, but it definitely changes. And it's cool that, at that point in time, you might listen to an old song that was good, that you just are like, no, I don't feel it. I don't think people would relate. And so, you know what, that song needs to be released, and now's the time to do it. It's funny how that works. I've done that with songs that sat around for years, and then I released it and ended up being a big song that I wasn't ready for it at that time, but with the changes in my life, it fit more, and it's hard to explain until you have it or you experience it. But that will definitely happen. That's one thing I can promise.
Exactly, yeah. That exactly. And like vice versa, I think a lot of the songs I released back in the day, like looking back at it now, it's interesting to see kind of how thoughts kind of evolve and how I say certain things evolved. Because how I piece things together, let me think of how I want to kind of say this, but like it's different how I used to piece certain things together and then how I used to piece, like how I piece them together now. Like certain things that I would say in the past, I wouldn't say now, but certain things I say now, I wouldn't say in the past. Like it's all part of like that evolution, you know?
It is, and that's like I said before. If you're not evolving, if you're not moving, then you're standing still. It's such a simple phrase, but if you're not moving, you're standing still, and it applies in so many different things because you have to evolve. You have to keep adapting, or you will get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are
100%.
running short on time on the show, but I did want to pick your brain on a couple other quick answers. Are you someone who, how do you do your research on your songs? Do you read books? Like, I'm a big reader myself, so I get a lot of influence from reading a lot of different crazy stuff. Some people watch movies, some people look at comics. What is your outlet that you like to watch for entertainment value, but also that helps give you influence and ideas for your music?
Yeah, so I do a considerable amount of reading. I like to read like kind of occult type things and things like that. Aside from that, I just do a lot of just meditating and thinking, and I try to unlock my brain in order to write my songs. But as far as like I guess research, I try to watch the news, not too much because a lot of it kind of gets under my skin, but I try to watch like a considerable amount of news just to kind of see where the world is at and look at it from kind of outside of my body a little bit. I try to see like how are they saying this to make it sound like this? What type of footage are they showing? And not necessarily if I'm writing the song on that topic that they're discussing on the news, but I just try to see how are people manipulating how they want to say and saying certain things to make certain things seem less bad or more, more substantial. I just do a lot of studying humans. I think studying humans and really observing their actions has really kind of led my music.
And that's it. I mean, it's when you study them, you pick up on things and you learn things, and people are manipulated, and when you watch the news and things of that nature, that it's the best skit ever put on. You know what I mean? They're crafting the pictures, the headlines, the billboards. They're the ones coming up with the news story, telling you the info they have and the accounts of what happened. You don't know if any of it's true, but you're being told so many things. It just sounds so legit, and they sound so on point. It all collaborates with one another, and you're like, well, then it must be true. And I know we talked about this, and we're repeating some topics tonight, different questions. They keep kind of circling back, as most things in life do. For full circle, question everything, folks. Before we get this interview over here tonight, we are going to jump into another song, then come back, let Jade the NIghtmare tell us who she wants to give her shout-outs to, or you can check out all of her music, and we'll finish up for the night. We are going to jump into one last song of the night, and then when we come back, she can tell us a little bit quickly about that. This is Skin Suit by Jade the NIghtmare here on Uncovering the Underground.
My skin too skinty, skin too skinty, skin too skinty, skin too skinty,
And we're back, guys, on Uncovering the Underground. I'm Skippy Yickham, and we have Jade The NIghtmare on the line tonight interviewing with us, and that was her song, Skin Suit. Very heavy, very dope. I hope you guys liked it. Leave us feedback. Share it around. Share the show around and get us out there. Like I said, we're trying to bring you a lot of great underground personalities. And before we forget, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about a couple of those personalities that we're bringing coming up, and then we're going to ask Jade to tell us a little bit about that song and go over who she would like to give some love to. But you can catch us on a special edition next Friday, since the 4th of July is on Thursday. We were doing a show Friday, and we're going to be doing that one from 8:30 to 10:30. So a little bit different on that one, 8:30 to 10:30, and I have my bro Lyrazone going to be on the show with us from my label Brutal Business Entertainment, and we're going to be talking to him about his upcoming album, some of the releases he just released, like his track he dropped this week with Kung Fu Vampire Twisted Insane. If you haven't checked that out, hit me up. I will send you a link. Awesome track. We have him, like I said, on the 5th. We do have our show continuing back on a normal day, Thursday, the 11th, and that's going to be Ghost the Demented, followed by the 25th. I am skipping 1 week due to the birth of my child, roughly supposed to be that week, but that could be at any point in time, so we will see. And that is on the 25th with Miss Red. So we are doing a Brutal Business Entertainment takeover for July. All 3 episodes that we have planned in as of right now are all Brutal Business Entertainment members. So we wanted to do that kind of uniquely because we haven't had many of the members of my label on here. So that way we can get 3 or 4 all done in 1 month. So get them in, let you see a little bit about what we got going on over here at our camp and what's going on. Just musically in general with the modeling and everything else we're doing also. You can check all that out at teambrutalbusiness.com. Again, that's www.teambrutalbusiness.com for all your brutal business news. And make sure you check out our sponsors that we mentioned earlier in the show, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel, Brutal by Design Apparel, Legion Artwork, Roush Designs, and R3 Graphics. We love you guys. We thank you for supporting the show and supporting us. Be keeping an eye out for our new podcast that I'll be launching under Brutal Business. This one is a little different, guys. This is going to be called Celestial Oddities, Pair of Normal Guys. And it is a paranormal podcast where we talk over everything from demonology, ufology, cryptozoology, and everything in between to talk about the paranormal world. So it will not be music related. For the people that like those type of things like myself, you'll love this show. It's me and Daniel James, who's the videographer of all my videos, and a good friend of mine, entrepreneur, actor, and actually a medium. And he does have some amazing talents to talk to powers beyond. And if you think I'm kidding, you have to see it, yourself. He is very, very spiritual and very connected. And I look forward to being in a show with him, working with him, and bringing you something kind of new and fresh. Once again, that's Celestial Oddities, Pair of Normal Guys, dropping in July. We'll have more news on that coming up. And then to close out this evening, just much love to all the fans and everybody that supports the show and Brutal Business, all the artists that we interview on the shows. If you have suggestions, you have anything you want to see or ask about, hit us up at brutalbusinessent@gmail.com, brutalbusinessent@gmail.com. I check it daily. I will get back to you right away. For anything you guys are wondering, or if you want to submit your music or possibly be on the show, send me a submission email and we'll certainly talk. Jade, without delaying any further, we're going to let you do the finishing out of the episode tonight. Why don't you tell us about that song, what the overview is on that. Tell us who you want to thank tonight and where they can check out your music.
Yeah, of course. So Skin Suit, that is featured on my song Suffer. On my album Suffer, my bad. And that song itself is about stepping out of your body and really showing that beyond the skin on the inside, we are so different than what we can portray on the outside. Like I said, like the eye sees but cannot see itself. And when you see your insides from a different perspective, you can really see who you are as a person. And that song just really uncovers that and kind of takes you through an emotional roller coaster of what it means to be a human, in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of like the synopsis of that song. And
very dope.
Yeah, thank you. And then as far as shout outs, I want to give a big shout out to you, Skippy Ickham, for allowing me this opportunity. Brutal Business Entertainment, big shout out. I want to give a shout out to everyone that was talking in the chat. So Kamar, Christopher Evans, Lirizone, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, everybody listening, tuning in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, thank you, because I really I'm so grateful. And
absolutely.
Then, yeah. And as far as where you guys can check my music out at, you can check my music out on www.jadethenightmare.com. I'm available, my music's available for streaming on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, anything that you can think of. But yeah, www.jadethenightmare.com has all my links, all my merch, everything. So, yep. So, thank you.
Absolutely, and you heard it from her herself. Go check her out on any of the online platforms. Pick up some of her past work. Be keeping an eye out for her future work and support her. She's a great up-and-coming artist, and we want to see you out there showing love for her. So share her music around. Hit that share button. Hit that like button. And like I said, purchase some of her material. If you see her merch, pick it up. She has some dope merch. And talking about that, I actually want to order, one of the shirts I've seen. I do want to order that myself. Just haven't got around to it yet, so I will be getting on that also. And other than that, we thank you for tuning in tonight. As I said, July 5th with Lirizone. We'll be right here back on Uncovering the Underground from 8:30 to 10:30. So that is a special time and day. So that is our special episode for the 4th of July. And we'll be talking about a lot of things and having a good time together. America. We do thank you for coming on the show tonight, Jade. Everybody out there listening, have a wonderful evening. And we'll catch you in a week at July 5th. And once again, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yep.